Hey guys, welcome to Free by 40. It's a No News Monday, and if you followed me for a while, you know I don't like these days. The setups just don't line up the way I like, so instead of forcing anything, I'm going to put that time into backtesting. Today we're going to dig into some ORB strategies and really focus on improving our entries and exits. Backtesting is one of the most important parts of this job. It's how you build confidence, refine your setups, and make sure you're ready when the right opportunities come. So, let's jump in, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how I do it. First, open up just blank trading view. Normal, regular setup, get the chart the way you like it. Up top, you're going to see this button right here called bar replay. You click on that, and you start. It looks like I had an old session, so we're going to exit out. We're going to start a brand new session. So it's going to default you to the current day. So this is this morning. This is live. What you're going to do is you come down here to where it says select date. And sometimes I like to hit select the first available day. But sometimes whenever you do that, it takes away your 1 minute time frame. Dates that are far back enough, the data points are so old that unless you have a really premium version of TradingView, you don't have access to those data points. So I've noticed, I think with the 1 minute time frame, February, January is about the time where it starts cutting off. So we're going to go back to February of this year. It looks like it started on Saturday, so we're going to start on that Tuesday, and we're going to go to 8:45 so we can establish our opening range. So you go here, and we have our 8:30 open right here. We're going to drop this down so we got our volume is covering up a little bit, but that's okay. And we have our top of our opening range here. So we're going to mark out our low. We're going to mark out our high. And we're going to look for a break of the opening range, either to the top or the bottom, and we want it to close outside of the range. Now you can do this on many different time frames. I like to do it on either the 1 or the 2 minute. For today, we're going to test out the 1 minute. You don't do anything until you see a fair value gap form with the candle that broke the opening range. If there's no fair value gap, you sit on your hands and you wait. So it's easier for me to show you, so we're going to go through it and I'm going to explain it as we go. So you can progress candle by candle if you'd like by holding down shift and right. What I like to do is do that just so you have a little bit more control. Now, if you wanted to simulate real-time trading, you can change the speed at which replay goes. So if you wanted to pretend that it was actually like a trading day, now it's not going to be exactly, it's going to be close. You can change it to slower speeds and watch, and in real time, it's going to change your candle once every 10-15 seconds. Now, sometimes whenever I do that, it goes past where I want to do my entry because it's a little bit quicker than regular trading times. So what I'm going to do is just bump it forward 1 candle at a time. And we got our open range breakout, 15 minute. It broke right here. Now let's go in a little bit closer and you'll be able to see. We have our break, but no fair value gap. So we don't do anything yet. We go forward. All right, boom. There we go. Magic. You mark out your fair value gap if you'd like. I like to. Sorry, my stream deck's messing up on me. Mark out our fair value gap. And what it is once you hit that fair value gap, you can either enter on the retest, or when I backtest, I don't necessarily do that because you only get a candle by candle movement. You don't get second by second movement. Likely, once you get that fair value gap, this next candle may come down and test it, but there's no way of knowing. So you enter into a buy or a sell if it's a break to the downside, and you put your stop loss below the candle that broke. So right here's the candle that broke. We're going to put the stop loss down here, and we're going to target a 2R. And what that means, a 2R, is for every dollar you're risking, you want a reward of 2x of that. So for a 580 risk, we're going to be a little bit over $1,000 in our profit. So the way we do that is you can set our long tool in TradingView, and it'll set your risk to reward ratio right there. You put your stop loss at the bottom, bring your TP up to the top of it. So we're going to be targeting a little over $1,000 for this trade. Let's see how it plays out. All right, boom. We hit full TP and ended up making $1,170. First trade of the backtesting session, not bad. Now, what we're gonna do is we have a trade journal. Bring it down here so you can see it. And if you look, you gotta put the date in. So the date for that trade was February 4th, 2025. And we won it. It was a long 1170. It was a 2R. We did not trail our stop loss. I'm going to just do this for me. This is just so I can edit later. And we're going to move on. Now, if you guys would like, I can have a template to this backtesting journal in my Discord so you guys can copy it and do it yourselves. It's nothing that I've seen anywhere else. I know other people have different types. I just got bored one day and I built one. There may be better trade journals out there, but for now, Excel's fine for me. So we're gonna move on to the next day. I'm gonna probably do about 2, maybe 3 weeks of this, and then I'll hop back in. If any trades are really interesting or have something to teach or show, I'll slow the time lapse down, but for now, just enjoy the ride. All right, guys, we're gonna take a look at this one real quick. I know I said I was gonna speed through these with the time lapse, but our second trade was interesting as well. So right here, you see this first one, it did technically close above the opening range, and we did have somewhat of a fair value gap. But with this one having a massive long wick and drop back down, and it being at 9 o'clock, there's a good chance that that was a news candle. News candles are a little bit of an exception. We don't want to trade a strategy based on news because news is random. It could shoot it up high, could drop it down low. It just depends on what the news is. Now, there is a way to check to see if that was a news candle because the place we use to check our news daily is Forex Factory right here. And if you look, this is the day. There was no red folders, so we didn't trade today. Let's bump back to February. And that was February, what, 5th? Sure. We are on February 5th. And right there, boom. 9 o'clock, we got ISM PMI. So that's what that news was. So we would not have traded that one. Now here, we have a close below, and we do have a fair value gap. And it's a pretty massive fair value gap. So we're going to try it out. We're going to see what happens. Whenever we have a massive fair value gap like this, it's a little worrisome because I feel like that might be manipulation, but there's no way to know without trying. And that's what backtesting's for. There's no money on the line. We're just testing out strategies. So let's see. We're going to put a sell order in. Stop loss is going to be a little bit tighter right there on the fair value gap. We're going to be aiming for 2R. Immediately stopped out. That's okay. It's part of the strategy. It's part of the replay trading. not money that we lost. We're going to go up here and log it real quick. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna trail our stop loss down into profit. The main reason I like to trail stop losses is we're trading prop firm accounts. A lot of times with prop firms, you have something called a trailing drawdown. And when that happens, is say you get up $600-700 and then it reverses down and you lose out a trade. You don't just lose the money that your stop loss was. You lose the amount that your trailing stop loss was, which means that $600 is now gone. So your buffer before you blow the account is less than it was before you started the trade. So I like to always trail into profit whenever I'm trading prop firm evaluations or even a funded account that is not past its drawdown limit. Because if you don't, you're going to blow your account a lot sooner just by sitting on your hands. So anytime that we're in solid profit, I like to pick up as much as I can without jeopardizing the trade. Now, in our trade journal that we're logging, I do have a column for if we trailed our stop loss, and then there's a column after that that is if we did trail our stop loss, would full take profit have hit? And if I see a lot of those saying yes and yes, then maybe we're going to readjust our strategy and sit on our hands a little bit more, trailing loss be damned. So we're going to see how this one plays out. All right, so in that case, the stop loss did get hit, but since we trailed our drawdown, we were able to pick up some profit in that, and we did not technically lose this trade. Now, in that instance, trailing it was the right play. We're going to continue getting data points and adding in more testing days and see what works better. So we're going to log this in our trade journal. All right, guys, so this one's an interesting one. The candle is such a large one, and technically we did check. It is orange folder news, but since it's not a red folder news, we're going to treat it as if it's normal. We're going to see if it works. If this plays out, it would be an instance where you'd be passing an evaluation in one day. You need $3,000 to pass a $50,000 Apex evaluation. This would be a one-day pass. And with a lot of the discounts that Apex has been running, use code FBF for the best discount. You could feasibly pass this in one day. So let's see if this will play out. All right, guys, let's take a look at this one. It was a pretty large red candle. We did check, it was news. Now, with it being orange folder news, it wasn't as scary to me, so we decided to try it out. So as soon as we broke at a fair value gap, we entered. put our stop loss above the top of the candle that broke, put our take profit at a 2R. We got into some pretty solid profit in the $1,000+ I trailed into profit, so we would save our trailing drawdown, which in this instance we're backtesting. There's not a real trailing drawdown, but I'm trying to trade as realistically as possible. So we trailed it into profit right here and got stopped out almost immediately on the next candle. We let it play out and we saw that just about 40 minutes later, it hits full take profit. We would have ended up passing an evaluation in one day if we would have just sat on our hands. I'm going to log this in the journal, and we're going to keep that data point and review and maybe adjust our setup moving forward. It just depends on what the data shows. I just thought this would be interesting for you guys to see. We're going to move on. All right, for this one, it was an interesting one. If you saw earlier, the fair value gap for the break was like this small. I was really hesitant to even try it, but that's the point of backtesting, is trying things that you might not do when you're actually trading. The fair value gap was relatively small, so I didn't know if it constituted a good entry for our setup. I put my stop loss below the candle that entered, a 2R, and we got into some good profit. I ended up trailing up about $500. Let's see, I actually trailed up into $585. And we got stopped out at our trailing stop loss. And I let it play out to see, and it looks like it ended up hitting our stop loss, our original stop loss for a lost trade, but it took the entire day. We entered into this trade at 8:30 or 8:45ish, and we got stopped out on our original trade at 5 p.m. So the trading day would have actually been done. So I don't feel bad about trailing that stop loss. I think that's one of the instances where it was a good choice. We're going to log it and move on. All right, so this is one that would have been nice if we would have trailed into profit, because it came right back down and stopped us right out. You know, live and learn. We're gonna note it in our journal and keep moving on. All right, so look at this one. This is another instance where we trailed our stop loss into profit. It came back down, triggered our stop loss. Normally not a big deal. We let it play out, and it went right back down to full take profit. Now in this instance, this take profit was about $1,000. We got stopped out at $50. So we technically left money on the table. Now, we didn't lose money. It's not a bad thing. And we're just backtesting, so this is just data. We're gonna log it, use it for future reference whenever we take actual trades, and move on. All right, guys, that's a wrap. I just finished 3 weeks of back testing and ended up about $3,500 ahead with a strategy. Still not enough data to call it perfect, but definitely a step in the right direction. I'm going to have a template of this backtesting journal up in the Discord later if you want a copy. And if you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment of what you're doing on your own backtesting. I'd love to hear how it's going for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Free by 40.